Hey everyone, happy Friday, and thank you so much for joining us. We are kicking off season 3 of Social Pulse Weekly. Yes, 3 seasons we've had already with the amazing Ashley Graham. So stick around because this is going to be a really awesome show. Mike, play the intro.
It's Social Pulse Weekly, brought to you by Agora Pulse. With this week's special guest, Ashley Graham. Discussing this week's hottest topics and latest developments in social media marketing. With your host, Jennifer Watson. Here's Social Pulse Weekly.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday, the first Friday of April. I don't know about you, but I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and things are starting to really heat up. That temperature is rising. I've turned on the air conditioning, and it's actually a sunny day, so hopefully you're seeing some nice weather. I know many of you probably can't go outside and enjoy it, but maybe open a window and just sit by the window and kind of soak it in a little bit. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We have an amazing, awesome show to kick off season 3 of Social Pulse Weekly, and we are bringing back the news and the trivia and the chance for you to win an Agora Pulse mug or shirt, your choice, at the end. So this is so exciting for us, but we want to know how you are doing. We want to know who you are, where you're watching us from, and something positive that's happened to you personally this week or in your business this week or the past month, or has happened to a friend, something just uplifting to share with everyone, because even though there's a lot of craziness and this is uncertain times and new territory for everyone, there's still a lot of positivity out there, and we just want to find it and highlight it. Now, with that said, we want to thank our show sponsor, the amazing, the incredible Julie Riley. Now, Julie Riley, I would say, is a jack of all trades. Now, she is the amazing person behind Depict Media. She is out of Wichita, Kansas, so Tornado Alley. She does a little storm chasing as well. At least she might with me. But she is incredible. Anything about social media strategy, content creation, she is your person, and you need to contact her at Social Jewels ICT. You can find her there on Twitter, on Instagram, all the good stuff. But Julie, thank you so much for being our show sponsor. And now here is our amazing guest, Ashley Graham. So we've been so excited to have Ashley Graham on the show since last year. We figure out our guests like well in advance, several months in advance. And so she was a show sponsor to kick off 2020. And we're just so excited to have her kick off the month of April in season 3. So she is a brand strategist and publicity expert who has a passion for coffee. Who doesn't? Media collaborations and connections. To Ashley, every brand has a unique story that wants to be heard and strives to be the influence in connecting those stories to the media. Ashley's creative process is to coach her clients on filtering through the main ingredients of their brand to facilitate a well-rounded methodology and how they need to execute their media outreach plans, story angles, and additional content strategies in between. Ashley's clients have been exclusively featured in outlets such as Entrepreneur, Markets Insider, Thrive Global, BuzzFeed, EllenTube, and many more. And with that said, oh my gosh, that's an amazing bio. Ashley, welcome to the show. Do you like how we pop you up while we're like bragging about you and you're just like, yep, that's me. You know,
yep, I'm like, there's my face.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I had to throw up the coffee mug.
Yeah, we are loving your Agora Pulse sweatshirt, your coffee mug, all that good stuff. And keep in mind, for those of you that are watching, you have the opportunity to win a mug or t-shirt, Agora Pulse mug or t-shirt. So you got to answer both trivia questions at the end correctly to be in the running. And there are actually some tricky trivia questions. I just want to say that because I was kind of surprised by the answers myself. But so first off, oh my gosh, who do we have here in the house? We've got Alan joining us from Ireland. Alan, I love you so much. Happy Friday. Hopefully you are doing wonderful. We've got Pam Curry in the house. We've got Rebecca Ward. Rebecca, we love you. UK, how are you doing? How was your Friday evening? How was your week? The amazing Julie Riley, obviously. We've got Deb Mitchell, who's in the house. She is our community manager at Agora Pulse, and she is incredible and amazing at basically everything she does. So yeah, but let's, kick it off. I want to know how everyone's week has been. And Ashley, I want to know how you're doing. morning and something positive that's happened to you in the past week or month that's like really uplifting and you're like, you know what? The world's an amazing place.
Yeah. Well, a big takeaway, or just, I guess, a reminder that I tell myself is, how can I be proactive versus reactive? And I feel that we are so charged right now with how we need to respond and how we need to navigate our things. And that we'll get into this later, but me being just a PR fanatic in general, I look at everything as an opportunity. And I get in these modes where I will just go on a pitching spree. And I mean, I am trying to get my byline in whatever way I can, show up as an expert in this little blurb. And it's really interesting enough that everything is starting to hit this month. And I guess that is great. And I'm really excited to start putting all that out there. But it's just like, okay, if I'm going to challenge myself to show up, it's all showing up all at once. And I'm like, okay, this will be interesting to see the end of the month when we reach that point.
I love that though, showing up. I think a lot of us have had a hard time of showing up, especially with all that's going on. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of changes. And so I love that, Ashley. I can't wait to learn everything about you. I think that's wonderful. We've got Scott Ayers, our content scientist, in the house. He's wondering, is it Friday? I know I have to keep checking my calendar and double checking my meetings. I'm like, okay, what day is it? What meetings do I have? I don't know what day of the week it is. It's like March 45th, right? It is March 45th, Scott. It is. Let's just do that. There's actually a funny meme going around where about decades, and that March was a decade in itself. Mm-hmm. It just seems so long. It was like January, but so much longer. Brian Fanzo, what's going on? Brian's in the house. We have Alyssa. Woohoo! Go Ashley. Oh my God, see, you've got such a great fan base.
Alyssa was just on my live show early this morning. And so, girl, thank you so much for being here.
Alyssa, thanks for joining us. Let us know something positive that's happened in your life. We want to know. Alan is sending us positive vibes from across the pond, getting a great reaction to my Zoom tutorials. That's awesome, Alan. That's so awesome. Share a link in here. And if you guys have anything that you're promoting, you're working on, share your links in the comments so everyone else who's watching can see, and then we can share them out as well. We've got Eugene. What's going on, Eugene? Happy Friday. We've got a great group of people in the house. So, Ashley, with all that said, give us a little bit of background about you, because you're marketing, social media, public relations, you own your own agency. How did you get started in all of this?
So and then a lot of this is in my messaging, is I am a person of influence, whether that was influence that I've received from other people who have helped get me to the point where I am now, or just being an influence for other people to either start their own content campaigns, get the conversation going around them and who they are in their business. So that's just kind of like the bulk and the essence of what I bring to the table. But with the influence side, and I've been wanting to share this story more and more, and I'm getting so confident now that I'm getting into the bulk of it. But I just had the divine opportunity to be influenced by a teacher of mine that I had in my senior year of high school. And just to give you some context, I, being a senior, didn't really know exactly what direction I wanted to go in, as far as school. It was just more of wanting to take the stepping stones. But I took a marketing class my senior year. And the more that I talk about that, it's interesting to hear the response, because, a lot of people didn't have the opportunity to take any type of marketing or business classes in their high school. And so I don't know. I took this marketing class, and I had this teacher who I swear she predicted my whole entire future for me. And she was just, a cheerleader on the sidelines. And she's like, girl, you have to pursue a degree in marketing. I can just sense it in you. And she was kind of like the main start of all of that. And that was over 12 years ago. And just to kind of forward past the process, is, I pursued my bachelor's degree in marketing and business, and I've had, some incredible in-house opportunities where I learned a little bit more of the startup scene and what it took to start a company from the ground up, as well as learning how to market a new concept or market businesses in general. And just through a weird pivots in life, it just took, a little bit of time to kind of sit in what I ultimately wanted to do, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And it's always been marketing for me. And I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. But, marketing is my future. It's my present. It's been my past. And yeah.
I love that story, though. It's amazing how inspiring teachers are, especially, or professors, whatever happens. But I've had some amazing teachers in my life that have really influenced me and supported me. And, teachers are our heroes every single day for our kids, and for us. So I love that story, Ashley. That's amazing. That's so awesome. I have to give a special shout out to George Demanis. When I say you, you say Gene. Gene, he said you. So Gene, George, I've got you always. Hopefully you're taking some professional photos of this live show right now. I want to see what those would look like. We've got Tony in the house. And yes, Tony Christensen. Woohoo! Our Facebook ads guy. Tony, you rock. So Ashley, let's get down to the seriousness. What should every company brand be doing right now in regard to their marketing, social media, and PR strategy? When they take a step back and they're like, okay, let's look at everything we're doing. Does it make sense right now for our company and our brand? And how are we going to pivot to continue to thrive? So what are the 3 things that all companies should be doing right now if they're not already?
Going into kind of how we introduced this is, I think ultimately showing up is a big action to take. And I say that because in the beginning, before everything kind of unfolded to where it is now, I've had some responses either that I've read on social media or just in conversations with, my community, that they were like, we don't really know how impactful us showing up in our same messaging that we've been building, what just impact that's going to make. And it's like, well, the last thing, and this is kind of just like a workshop that I'll have in the conversations with them, is like, okay, well, let's look at it at this standpoint. Like everything has an expiration date at the end of it. And we hope the expiration date of what's going on right now is going to be a lot sooner rather than later. But the last thing that you want to do is put a screeching halt on any campaigns or any kind of messaging or any marketing that you're doing, because then you're going to have to kind of start over and get that momentum going. And so regardless of internal challenges that you might be facing, emotional challenges, financial challenges, I think just taking any little step that you possibly can to keep the momentum going, whether that's pivoting in your messaging, maybe having to approach your marketing or even your PR in a different way, just take every little step that you possibly can. Don't put a screeching halt on it. And I think as far as the second part is being very intentional with what you're putting out there. And a lot of, I think, concerns or a lot of fear-based mentality is kind of surfacing for a lot of people, especially from the marketing and publication side, that it's like, okay, we just need to start pitching like crazy just to keep the momentum and keep our brand relevant. But in reality, I think it's just, you need to be very intentional about the message that you're putting out there and not keeping that mentality going, because the last thing that you want is to be so focused on the current unfoldings in your messaging, and then that's literally going to set the precedence of your brand long term. I think ultimately looking at it from an abundance mindset of being like, hey, there is going to be the expiration date of this. How is our business going to thrive once all of the pandemic kind of subsides? And then the third part, I think, just really leveraging your channel of influence and really looking at the communities that you have built over the period of your brand or your business, and just becoming more of a support system for those that you have connected with in the past, whether that's just your following on social media, your friends and your family, other collaborators, your influencers, or media connections, just really nurturing the conversation with them as well as your relationship.
And those are Ashley, those are all amazing tips. And we just started a new Facebook group at Agorapulse, the Social Pulse community, just for that reason. We have a couple other Facebook groups that are more like niche and like kind of just for certain specific people and companies. But this one is for everyone, whether you're a client or a consumer of Agorapulse or not. We just want to help support people and people with their collaborations. So I love that, Ashley, because I think a lot of people feel stuck right now. And I love how you said, you can still you don't have to necessarily pause everything, but you can pivot that messaging. And also I love how you said being intentional about what you post. That's important now more than ever, because I've heard a lot of people say this, what companies and brands do right now will really impact them. Like if they do something wrong or insensitive, that can have a huge impact down the road. So They really need to be careful with their messaging, but that doesn't mean they still can't stay afloat and find creative and different ways to keep their business alive and thriving. And with that said, Ashley, I'm very curious. We've had a lot of other friends that we have in the social media and PR space say that a lot of their clients have come to them during this time and been like, you were right about this, or you were right about that, or we need to do live video, we need to do this. What is like the number one thing that clients are coming to you for advice for or help with? If it's something specific you've talked about in the past, what is the number one thing that they're wanting to do?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's going back to, okay, obviously our brand message, and your brand message still stays the same. Obviously, you'll kind of evolve as you get further into your business and you pivot. But honing in on that brand message in this period, or just kind of figuring out how you can retweak to basically just paint the picture of like, hey, I see you, I hear you, and you're putting yourself in, I guess, your audience or your client's perspective of like understanding how they might be feeling. So obviously addressing it from an understanding standpoint and just being like, hey, here's little things that you can shift. But with myself, because of the period, sometimes just having content ideas has been a big question that I've received, of just being like, okay, obviously we know that we need to show up, we need to stay consistent. And this is where, I can have content for days if you just give me a little bit time to like really dig into it. But that's been one of the biggest questions that I've been receiving, that they're like, okay, we've heard you've been preaching video for so long. What are some video ideas? And it's just more of being like, well, obviously we're all kind of confined in our spaces. It's not going to look so pretty when it comes down to like taking photos or video. There's only so much that you can work with, and you're working with your phone or whatever, technology you may have. But it's just like, we almost kind of want to see the raw and unique right now, because we're all in the same position. And so I've just been giving my clients just little takeaways that they can do here and there, whether that's angles or just little behind the scenes videos that they can start doing. That's still PR. It's all still brand awareness tactics that you can do just to kind of further that along. But then getting intentional about maybe what your call to actions can be at the end of each piece, whether that's chiming in of like, okay, what is something that you're doing right now to stay sane? Which that was a comment that came in at the beginning of the show, that it's just like, how's everyone staying sane? And it's like, okay, well, you can start taking just little quirky, witty comments like that and filtering that into just a little Instagram story that you can do on your phone that it's like, oh, here's how I'm staying sane today. And, it brings more of the personality to the content. Like, don't get me wrong, I am a branding fanatic. I'm wearing the hoodie, got my coffee cup, love pretty images and pretty video, but not everything needs to be pretty. Sometimes some of the most raw, authentic pieces have garnished and attracted the most attention from them. So hopefully that gives some good nuggets.
No, I know that's fantastic. And one thing from my experience, especially when we were doing lives at the Weather Channel, originally when we first started, we were almost making it so polished. It was basically like live TV on social, on Facebook. And that didn't do nearly as well as when we handed like Jim Cantore the phone, and during a commercial break, he was walking from one studio to the other, just talking about different things in the forecast. Like, that did so much better. And people, I feel like resonate better with raw and real because they can relate to it, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. And one of the funny things too is, on TV or local TV, a lot of the sportscasters, people don't realize this. They wear jackets, but underneath they've just got shorts on. If you don't, it's just like, but you can just be fun and relatable with it. And I love how you're, encouraging them to be raw because, Brian Fanzo talks about this. Perfection is a fairy tale, which is true. And when you're more relatable and raw, that's how people and businesses will kind of resonate with you. So I love this. And Alan's like, so many great tips. Thanks for sharing. This is so true. Jen Cole is in the house. Jen, I got to give you a shout out. This is excellent. And what did she say? She said something about empathy. Empathy really goes a long way. Everything from captioning posts to answering comments. We have to make it clear that we're here to help our community.
Yep.
Jen, you couldn't have said that any more perfect. And she's basically echoing what you said, Ashley, which is so true. And Ashley, you had an amazing Facebook post on your Facebook page, which I really loved. And I wanted you to talk more about. And basically, if you're a brand and if you do one thing right now, what should it be? And it's building your channel of influence. And you say that the most successful brands or people of influence have a voice and personality that others can't wait to connect with. And what are the 3 characteristics that you talk about for building a strong brand and channel of influence?
Yeah. So first and foremost, the first one, and I'm going to try not to babble on this one, but if anyone...
No, go as long as you need to.
If anyone's read the book, The 4 Agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz, it will make a lot of sense. But I think number 1, and this just goes on any level, I think it's just even the conversations that you have behind the screen, on the screen, with your family, your friends, your loved ones, is always be impeccable with your word. And always listen to understand before you speak, and always speak with integrity. And I think, especially from the PR side right now, is I've, seen a few pieces that have been circulating, as well as reading some other, helpful tips from other publicists and other people who are in the PR space, that it's like pitching the COVID-19 aspect right now. I mean, that's only going to get you so far. And you said something that really stood out, that it's like, that can ultimately make or break your brand right now. And we're being tested from so many different perspectives right now, that it's like, be very impeccable with your word and the content that you're putting out there. What else? I was like, I got to post up because I want to make sure that I cover everything.
Yep. and literally, look, Ashley. So this is why our producer, Mike, is so amazing. He has linked to your post in the comments and is showing it right now. I love this post.
Yeah.
This post was so incredible and amazing.
And so I'll just dig into the number 1 again, is some of the most, and this is again, everything from my perspective, but it's the most influential brands or individuals that I listen to and connect with their audiences, is they always speak from a position of truth and love. And right now, we just need to speak from compassion more than ever. And then understanding, again, the positions and the emotions that other people are feeling. We need it now more than ever. Second to that is inspire and mentor others. And why I bring up my teacher, so corny, from, my senior year of school, but it's just the impact of our relationships are so important, that it's if it wasn't for her influence, who knows where I would be right now. And so I think just going into everything with your messaging of just wanting to inspire and mentor other people, because who knows what lasting impression that you're going to make on their lives and where they're going to go in their career and in their future. And then the third point to that was always lead with authenticity, because we connect more with brands and individuals who remain true to themselves and are authentic in their value and how they lead others. And so
that's so I love all of that. I love how, you don't realize what you said. I don't remember the exact quote, but the impact of relationships are so important. And you don't even realize even what like a smile does to someone, let alone actually supporting them, and having that relationship with them. Deb said, build your channel of influence. Yes, this is so true. We've got Chrissy Buck in the house. Shout out to you, Chrissy. Thanks for joining us. She's a ray of sunshine. Actually has a yellow sweater that says sunshine that I really want and kind of wanted to steal from her at Social Media Marketing World, but I didn't. But no.
Eugene's comment, I was like, that's exactly what I was trying to talk about in the first one, is because if you're leveraging what's going on right now as a means to talk about how you are not thriving and you're bringing attention to that, it's just like reading it just feels so nasty. And I'm trying to find another way to say that, but it's just like, you can just tell that the intention is not there. And if you're trying to profit off of recognition, money, whatever the situation may be, it's like, so many things.
No, and that's the thing. People want positivity in their feeds, their social media feeds. There's so much negativity going around that you want to be a bright spot and like you said before, show community and show support. Community is so important right now. We were even talking before this show. I live by myself, guys. I'm a single mom. And I don't have my daughter until next Wednesday. So I was telling my boss, who's the producer, Mike, I'm like, guys, I'm so pumped right now for this show because this is like the social interaction I get, and we're all joking around. That's why they're like over an hour long. But really though, it's people, I crave community as a person, and I think a lot of people right now are trying to find people that they can relate with more than ever. Like everyone's kind of feeling alone, isolated, scared, but how can we twist all of that into positive? This is, a time of opportunity and reflection, which I think is really important too. And you can reflect on your brand or your company, how you're doing, what you're doing, and maybe you want to pivot. And so, there's so many different things, positive aspects that you can take from this and go with this. So I love, like, Ashley, everything you're talking about is just so wonderful. I'm looking at the comments right now. I'm seeing what people, I love you, Jen. I love Jen Cole. Jen's awesome. She's my social media manager twin because we're both Jens. So Ashley, I would love to know from your standpoint, you scrolling through social media and the job that you have, what are examples of some brands that are actually being smart and doing it right? And this is also for everyone watching too. I would love in the comments for you to kind of message and let us know what brands are doing something clever, something fun right now. My boss, Mike Alton, who is our producer, mentioned it's the Cowboy Museum in Texas where they have someone taking over their Twitter handle talking like a cowboy. And it's just hilarious and funny because the museum is closed. But I would love to know from you guys what brands or anyone personally, an entrepreneur, is doing something clever on social media. And Ashley, for you, have you seen a brand do something awesome and just be like, wow, like that's a really clever way to spin this, uncertain time right now?
Gosh, I look at so much on a daily basis. And I've even had to remind myself that on the weekends, I don't check my phone. And I'm really trying to just mute everything and be like, this is me time. But there's so many, and I have so many incredible friends here in San Diego and different communities that I'm connected with that are just showing up in such beautiful ways. And I mean, is it okay if I just do a shameless client plug right now?
Yes, go for it. We'd love to know.
But
absolutely.
I have a client here in San Diego who she was actually the one that I landed the video spot with Ellen Tube. And I mean, this woman is a rock star. Everything that she promotes, her personality is just always on point. And with her being in the yoga space, she obviously can't go to work because they closed all the yoga studios. And, she has a nonprofit that she focuses on as well, where she raises, money to go back to charitable donations for anything that's going on. And she has launched a campaign that I think is pretty fun. I'm not going to say that I'm going to join in on this because I don't know if I can guarantee I'll make those steps every day. But she launched a campaign called Corathon. And so it's essentially like you pay a $10 donation and she donates that back to different health and wellness organizations in San Diego to provide masks to everybody, to the doctors, the nurses, a lot of other charitable initiatives. But it's basically an online community that she's hosting through WhatsApp right now, where she's challenging everybody to get in their steps the same as you would if you were going to run a marathon. And watching some of the videos that come through on this are so interesting, of how people are just trying to get more creative with their approach. One, to stay mindful of their fitness and their bodies and their mental and emotional health. But I don't know, she's been able to take a situation that's not so ideal and like find a way to still like be on brand and promote her initiatives, which are always charitable based. So she's definitely
I think that's such a oh, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Oh no, I was go for it.
No, that was such a positive spin that someone can take. And I can't wait to watch some of those videos. I've seen a couple people that are marathon trainers that are like going back and forth on their balconies or like circling their lawns, their backyards, which is so like wild. And they do it like over 1,300 times to actually reach the marathon like length.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know how they do it, but I love spinning it positive to help others because Jen Cole and Julie Riley together, they used to have a live show, and I forget the name, guys, but every Friday, what they would do is highlight a person or business in Wichita, Kansas, where they live, and something great that they're doing. The live wasn't about them, it was about the community. And that was such a natural, fun, organic way to build a community. And it was an amazing show. And I think a lot of brands, like right now, collaborations are huge. This is a great time to think about collaborations and who you could work with to help each other out, share each other's audiences, and create some really awesome content and even do live video. But they did that every Friday, and I love that. They're so creative and amazing. So it's really good. And let's see, Eva, the question that Jen asked is very interesting. And let's see, what did you say? And here I would like to point the initiative of the Van Gogh Museum. Oh, that's awesome. Eva, thank you so much for that. I'll have to check that out. Oh, George, we love you, George. Yeah. You're amazing, George. We're trying. Yeah, we're really trying. And a lot of brands are doing this too, which I love. And so let's see. I don't even know how to pronounce that, Julie Riley. Teeks? I'm not a good pronouncer. Whatever Julie Riley's comment is giving $100 gift cards to anyone who sews and donates 50 or more masks to local hospitals, which I love too. I think that's amazing. And their Facebook Live show was Depict This, which was an amazing and awesome show. And so I think there's so much opportunity and free courses as well that it's giving, I think teams a chance to step back. And, even assigning, if business isn't as busy as normal, encouraging them to go take a course, do this, learn this, and grow together as a team. But I know working from home can be a little distracting. Now, Ashley, do you usually work from home or do you have an office?
No, I primarily work from home. So luckily that transition wasn't anything really new, but the stubborn in me, I'm like, but now you're telling me that I have to stay home. Because normally, like if I wake up and I was like, oh, I'm really not feeling like the creative vibe of my space right now, then I'll go to a local coffee shop, and it's a way to support local businesses. And I have my few. I usually will jump around just to kind of, enjoy different ones around the city. And it's like my own little field trips every day. But, now that I can't even do that, I'm like,
I feel like, when someone tells you can't do something, you really want to do that.
Yeah.
And that becomes a really big struggle. But Stephanie Liu is in the house. She's an NLP trainer, certified trainer. So I think Stephanie can help us with our minds spin this in a positive way when you feel like when someone tells you can't go outside or do something, and it makes you want to do it even more.
Yep.
So Stephanie, any positive NLP vibes you can give us? That would be absolutely wonderful and awesome. So what tips do you have, Ashley, since you're a working from home pro, to maintaining your creative mindset or just kind of staying healthy and making sure you keep the blood flowing?
Yeah. I think sticking to some type of routine schedule is important. Now, I am not an expert in this. I definitely kind of fluctuate. And now the times are just even different. Like I feel I'm being drawn back to my late nights. And I'm talking like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But it's like those kind of hours, you just kind of have to fall into them and lead into them because usually creativity comes out of that. But I just found that sticking to a schedule and my alarm goes off from my phone. And one thing that I have found that I'm doing more now than I ever have before is I'm setting my alarm and I put my phone on the other side of the room. So that way I have to physically get up out of bed to go and turn it off. And so you already kind of get the energy of fully waking up. That's been helpful. But then also taking the time to just disconnect from all of social media, the computer in general, and either maybe just staying in the same space, but channeling your energy different. And I've picked up a lot of reading lately, which is great. And there's a little hobby that I now have. A lot of the parks and the beaches are closed out here in San Diego, but I'll just take my car and I'll go to the beach so where I can actually just see it, and then I'll just read in my car. So I'm still following the rules. But it
Actually, I love that.
Yeah, it just kind of takes you out of the space that you're like, okay, like, I kind of can't sit at home anymore. I need a break. And still kind of gets you in nature, but still obeying the rules that we have to follow right now.
That's a great tip. And I think a lot of us are finding it more than ever where we just want to go for a drive. We're not going anywhere specific even. We're just going for a drive to get out of our house. And we're still staying isolated, which is so true. Julie Riley says a routine has been so helpful for me. I would lose all sense of control without some routine. Rebecca Ward said, yep, it's not stay at home. It's safe at home. This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
And Tony Christensen, I miss going to local coffee shops. Yeah, I know. It's okay. But you have your own coffee shop in your apartment or house or whatever it is. And Stephanie Lou, I love you. She said, I'll give you a double bind. Would you rather stay healthy or put yourself and everyone else at risk? This is so, so true. Like I plan on really not doing anything other than if I have to go to the store, and that's it.
Yeah.
I try to stick to that. So Ashley, I would love to know this. And for our viewers, you can share these too. I usually ask this of every guest, but Ashley, what are the top productivity or content creation tools that you use, the top 3 that you could not live without, whether it's like some quick editing app on your phone, or it's a tool that you use for yourself? Do you use Slack? We use Slack. We like Asana at Agorapulse as well. But there's a lot of Todoist. A lot of people like Todoist, but I would love to know, what are your 3 top productivity or content creation tools that you just are like, oh my God, if I lost this or didn't have this, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the content side because after a while I got so much feedback and questions on this. So I'm just going to put this out there, and such good nuggets. So if you want to kind of help, or if you want tools to help you elevate your Instagram stories or just your stories in general, there are, I think I have 4 top ones that I use on my phone. So Story Chic is such a great app to just add some more branded elements to your stories. Unfold is kind of the OG of story editing, but it's still a great one. And then there's In Stories, and I can send you the links of all these so you can have them. But those are my core 3. But then there's also Over, which is awesome if you are more of an e-commerce brand or a business and you just want some fun imagery to add to your stories with your call to actions. So those are my 4 apps when it comes to Instagram stories, and I love Instagram stories. But then just for content in general, Canva is always one of my go-tos, and it's always been a go-to since they launched. It was kind of hard to transition into that from Adobe Creative Cloud, but Canva is incredible. And that pretty much covers all the content side. Now, as far as productivity, I am a Google business girl through and through. And I know that I think last year they launched a few different apps that you can use within Google as far as your tasks. And there was another one. It was tasks and reminders for Google
Nice.
itself. And so the reason why I love those is because you can link those directly to your calendar and set the deadlines for yourself. And, you know, my executive assistant side in me comes out to where I calendar everything. Like I will literally have a note on my calendar with bullet points of everything that I want to do that day. And I'll literally just like manually go into that slot and I'll remove the things that, you know, I'm keeping myself accountable to check off the list. So I don't know, I'm just more of like a hands-on in my creative flow of what I need to do. But Google, they provide everything I need. So I kind of stay within those realms.
Oh my gosh, I totally get that. And I think a lot of people are in your shoes and do the same thing. We do have both Stephanie and Julie love Easel. Rebecca Ward, we love you. She uses Agorapulse, Canva, and Trello. And we use Trello too, or I've used Trello in the past. Canva, I love just because like, I'm like, guys, I did go to design school. I created this on my own. And like Mike, our producer, he's like, I feel like he went to design school. He's got a very creative mind through blogging and just creating designs. Rebecca, yes, we've got you. Nat Handler also says they love Canva, which yes, it's so amazing. Adobe Spark is pretty decent, very comparable. But I've always been a Canva lover. Eva, Canva, amazing tool. I'm also involved with it. And the best thing is that Canva actually grows each time you refresh as needed. This is true. This is very, very true. Dustin! Oh my God, I love Dustin, guys. So Dustin was on our show last week, which he only had 10 minutes, but I was talking to him about tools. If you guys seriously need help with more tools, Dustin can find them for you. Dustin is your guy to go to. He is fantastic. He is amazing. And I want to know for our viewers, does anybody have a question for Ashley? She's a PR expert, social media strategist, everything you can imagine, marketing expert. She knows it all, guys. So she is your person to ask because we're actually going to talk about some news. So actually, you guys think about something that you want to ask. We have Brian said, just a tool that uses tools here. Brian, I love you. You're amazing. And I genuinely do love you. So while you guys think of any questions you have for Ashley, let's talk about some news. You ready to geek out, Ashley, everyone?
Yes.
So let's do this. So yesterday, Twitter support tweeted, they announced a new update for its Explore tab, which will make all of the listed tweets in Explore more location specific. And this is all because of everything that's going on. But as a part of the update, they've removed the worldwide trends view. But hear us out. They were worried about that. And they said, we're working on improving Explore so we show you more relevant content for the different locations that you pick. So changing your location now applies to all of Explore, not just trends. And to select a new location, you can tap the gear icon on Explore. So I love how social media tools and a lot of different tools are adapting to this. So that is a great update from Twitter. And looking at the comments, Dustin said, just record a video today about how our templates can work with Canva or Easel or other design apps. Oh my gosh, Dustin, send the link to the video in the comments so we can all see it. Please, that would be awesome. Dustin is just the guru of 1,000 things too. And so the next one is, and I love this, Ashley, the fact that Facebook adds gift card discovery tool, service impact listings to help businesses impacted by COVID-19. And I know they were talking about their small business grants too. And a quick update on that, they said in the US, we are committing $40 million to supporting 10,000 small businesses in 34 locations where our employees live and work. These local businesses can go to facebook.com/grants4business to see the eligibility for applications, which will start in the US next week. And that's a facebook.com/grants4business. Now, they're also working on rolling out new tools to help impacted small businesses connect with their customers better via Facebook. The main addition is the new gift cards listing where people will be able to find digital gift cards for their favorite local restaurants and businesses. And they have kind of a screen showing it all. The new gift card registry will be available via special newsfeed prompts. while users will also be able to access the listing via the function menu, which is so important. And Ashley, I don't know, I've seen a lot of different celebrities and other people, influencers in communities talk about this, is buying just a gift card from a local restaurant that you can use later on down the road, or as a gift or something, just to help keep them afloat. I think is one of the most positive things that we can do, because it's tough. It's really hard. Now, the gift card registry is being rolled out, or has been rolled out to users in the US, and will be available broadly across the US within the coming weeks. So selected users in the US, and then broadly for everyone in the US in the coming weeks. Okay. So I think this is a huge thing, a big tool for that. Also, Facebook is adding a new option that will enable business owners to create personal fundraisers on Facebook in order to call on their customers for support. This is also huge. The option will provide another way for businesses looking to stay afloat amid COVID-19 shutdowns to seek support from their local communities. And then the last thing, Facebook is adding some new page options, which will enable impacted businesses to list temporary changes to their operations as a result of COVID-19. So I love the temporary change option. So if you're a small business and you got to tweak something, but it's only temporary, it allows you to do that, kind of like your temporary profile photo that they allow you to do. They now have this for business. So you can go to Facebook. We actually have the link here, but to see all these updates, which I think is so huge for everyone. Yeah. I love how they're all doing that. And Ashley, one last thing, LinkedIn suggests 4 types of posts to share amid all of this, the lockdowns and everything. And so as a lot of people, I think, or at least, are turning to LinkedIn and social media in general, people have to keep in mind, the mindset, everything's going on right now and what they should post. And some of their tips that they have are share your experiences. They recommend sharing personal stories as they can inspire and help others who are going through the same thing. And actually, this is basically what we talked about, being relatable. Mm-hmm. We're all alone, but we're all alone together, or we're all isolated, and yet we're all isolated together. Yeah. They also talk about discover and comment on relevant conversations. They recommend searching, right? And they recommend searching through hashtags to find information and conversations on topics that are interesting to you. And so I think that's awesome as well. Be yourself. Now, Brian preaches this, and I feel like being your true, authentic self, you talked about this too, Ashley, is, you should always be yourself and your true, authentic self, because that's where you're really going to find your tribe and the people that really surround you and support you and care about your brand. Mm-hmm. So I love this. And these are all great tips. There's more great tips from LinkedIn too that they've discussed. And, it's a great article, and I recommend everybody kind of reading through it. It may give you tips that will help you with your content creation. And the last one is share your thoughts on trusted news stories. That one is, I don't know. I'd like to keep things away from what's going on and not even say it and spin it positive. Yep. They suggest that, but I kind of don't. That's the one I don't like. Yeah. But I would love to hear what you guys think about that as well. But I think getting people away from that is positive. Rebecca Ward said, definitely agree that need to tell people if they're still trading, reduced hours, closed, taking on new projects. Yes, absolutely. I think it's so great. Dustin Stout said, unless you can be Batman, in that case, be Batman. Dustin, I'm not sure what you're referring to. So I love you. Oh, I think you're talking about be yourself. I get it, Dustin. I get it. It's a Friday. It's been a long week, Dustin. I get it. Unless you can be Batman, in that case, be Batman. Dustin, I love you. Thanks for just making us think a little bit harder. I love that. Any insight or anything you want to add to those news articles and everything, Ashley?
Well, I think, the reason why I said I love that is there's so many times when I've seen brands or businesses that are killing it from either a publicity standpoint or social media, and they are garnishing a lot of attention and engagement, but then they are not responding or keeping the conversation going on the post themselves. And community engagement, I think, is a big publicity driver. And sometimes just great publicity comes out of the conversations that you're nurturing with people online. And so it's like if you start to build some momentum and you get that conversation going, like respond, ask further questions. And I always leave all of my responses in my post that I was like, if you recognize with the channel of influence post, well, how are you like showing up as an influence in your brand? Like, I want to know what you're doing also, because, it keeps that connection there, keeps the dialogue going. And just a little plug is it just changes the narrative a bit, which is something that I'm even doing just as kind of like filler content right now with 8 other creative people, of just figuring out different ways that we can create content at home that just changes the narrative of what's going on. Because we still recognize that the elephant's in the room, but like, how can we navigate our content and the conversation differently? So,
Yeah. And it's great advice. And a lot of people are like, the mindset of like, oh, this sucks. All this is, this is bad. And it is a bad situation, but you can make it positive by the positive things you do, and the support you give to others. You can make it as positive as it possibly can be for what we're going through. And I think hopefully all brands and people are thinking about it that way, because, there's a chance and opportunity to grow and thrive right now, and learn more about yourself. And like we talked about, reflect. But the biggest points are, I think, Ashley, like you said, was being intentional and being authentic, and real, and maybe an opportunity to try something new that you've never done before. Whether it's that you've never done live video, do it. You'll be awesome at it, or something else. And so, I don't know, Ashley, you've given us some really amazing advice today. And with that said, Ashley, it's trivia time. Now you can't answer, Ashley. You can't give away the answers. I know, Ashley, we love you. So you guys, this is trivia time. We've brought it back. So you can win an Agorapulse mug or a t-shirt. It's your choice, but you have to get both of these answers correct to be in the running. Now, I was surprised by this with the different research studies that I found. But the first question is, are you guys ready? I want to know how well you guys know this. What are the 2 social media platforms experiencing the most growth during this time? Now, when you answer, I want you to answer 1-A, B, C, or D. So I know that you're answering the first question. But again, what are the 2 social media platforms experiencing the most growth during this time? Is it TikTok and Snapchat, LinkedIn and TikTok, Twitter and TikTok? There's a theme with TikTok, if you haven't noticed. D, is it Facebook and Snapchat? Don't go with D. But it's one of the top 3. So I'm interested to see what Brian says, A, B, C, D. Brian, don't listen to absolutely everything I say, like literally to the point. But Brian, I want to know what your guess is. Alan, I want to know what yours is too. George, Tony, all of you guys are in here. Stephanie, I want to hear your guesses. Everyone is going for B. B is the solid one right now. I'd say B. Yep. C. B, B, B. Eva says A. Alan says B. All right, guys. And Rebecca says TikTok and Twitter. Brian says C. All right, you guys, these are great guesses. Now, we aren't going to give you the answers right now because we're going to give it 24 hours for the replays in case someone else answers there. But I want to say something.
Google Plus.
Oh my God! Yes, it is Google Plus, guys. I'm sorry, I forgot there was one thing I didn't put on there. You guys, we rarely hear from Mike. It was Google Plus. All right, guys. So great answers. Let's go to the next one. And this may be surprising too. I kind of want to give the answers away right now. So I really do. So 2 is, what social media network is seeing a downturn in search attention?
Ooh.
So again, answer 2-A or B or C or D, not all of them, Brian. What social media network is seeing a downturn in search attention? Is it Facebook, Snapchat? And this is surprising, guys. This is going to be a surprising answer. I want to know. F Blab. Yeah, that's true. Blab is, but we should bring Blab back, or something similar to Blab. All right, guys, what are your guesses for number 2? I want to know, because you guys are going to be surprised by this. It's not what you think, most likely. I don't see a right answer yet. Keep guessing. Yep. I know. Mike will come in here and say, Jen, stop talking, because I'm going to give it away. It's not what you think. It's not what you think at all. It's the last one you would think is correct is the right answer, guys. Think about it. The last one you think is... Okay, I'm stopping. So anyway, all right, guys. So I'm going to stop talking so I don't give away the answer. Valerie has an idea though. But anyway, and thank you for joining us, by the way. So those are some interesting, we'll post the response. Yes, Rebecca, you smell what I'm stepping in. I know everyone's now smelling what I'm stepping in. Aren't you surprised? I'm surprised too. Renzo, thank you for joining us. And that was a great guess as well. So you guys, we're about to wrap this up. We actually did it in an hour. Usually, sometimes we can go over an hour, but I mean, this is solid. This has been a great conversation. I want to know from our viewers, do you guys have any last minute questions, input? This is your opportunity for Mike to put your comment live on this feed right now. So if you have something powerful to say it right now. But Ashley, any last words for just everyone? It doesn't have to be about, marketing and PR, but just, how to just not get through, but how to thrive positively during this time.
Yeah. And I'm going to go to my woo-ness over here, but anytime that I'm chiming into the show, I put an emphasis on Insight Timer, which is such a good app just for kind of keeping your mind stimulated, but just in a more healthy, more mindful way. And there actually was a great talk that I listened to from Elizabeth Gilbert, who most of you may know from the books that she's written. But she just had this great talk that it was like basically acknowledging and accepting that fear kind of resides in all of us, which is kind of what drives our next steps right now in this period that we're in. And just, again, accepting that it's okay to be fearful right now and not really know what course of action you need to take, and then just still loving yourself through the process. And that is a good one. Any type of like talks or meditations on Insight Timer is a good way just to kind of like tune inward with yourself and the emotions that you may be feeling. And if you need to cry it out, cry it out. If you need to like laugh, skip around the house, like whatever makes you feel good, like own that and express it and share it. Like if you want to get on Instagram and send me your videos of how you're keeping yourself like entertained and happy and healthy, then I'm like, yes, please send them to me.
Oh my God, send them to everyone, guys. Share them to everyone. And you, Eugene, I just want to say, Eugene said, thank you so much, Ashley and Jen. Here's my last words. There's always hope. See you all next time. And then he also said, this is such a wonderful community of amazing people. So glad to be a part of it. Eugene, I'm so glad you're here and you join us. We love you. You brighten everyone's day. So thank you so much for joining us. And Eugene, we're about an hour away from each other. So once this is over, we will meet up for coffee. Rebecca said, I'm so glad I have people and businesses like you all around me to keep me positive. Rebecca, we're so glad you keep us positive. Rebecca is like one of my favorite people of all time because we connected through live video, through this show. And then we met in real life for the first time at Social Media Marketing World. And she's such a great, positive person. Alan said, oh, great show again this week. Jennifer, Mike, and thanks to Ashley for some great tips and insights. Yes, Ashley, such wonderful information. Happy Friday. You make us happy, Alan. You make us happy. So to everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us. We've got this, like better than ever. We're going to get through it. We're going to thrive. There's opportunity. We can do this. You can join our new Facebook community, which is Social Pulse Community, is our new Facebook group, I should say. It's a place where we want you guys to be able to collaborate, share ideas, and We're here to support you. We have our new Lunch and Learn series as well on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock. We'll be having Jeff C. on next Tuesday in that group specifically to talk about all sorts of creative content hacks that he does. He speaks about this a lot around the country. So we'll be having him talk. And then we're going to be having the amazing Tony Christensen join us on Social Pulse Weekly next Friday. We're going to be talking all about ads and his advice right now on the different changes with the ads and what you should be doing if you have ad campaigns. So Tony, gosh, he's a plethora of information when it comes to ads. I saw him at Social Media Week Lima. The spreadsheets he has are incredible and amazing. So I can't wait for that, Tony, and everything else. And a big shout out to Julie Riley, our show sponsor. You're amazing and incredible. Connect with Julie at Social Jewels ICT on all the social channels. And a big, massive shout out to Ashley Graham. Ashley, you are so amazing, so wonderful.
Over here, tearing up. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, no. You guys, Ashley has been looking forward to this for so long, and we've been looking forward to having Ashley on our show. We think she's such a bright light, so positive. Just her energy is amazing. So, Ashley, where can people find you, see you, all that stuff? Get in contact with you.
I'm just accessible all on social media, really. I check my notifications way too much, but you can find me at Your Brandista, pretty simple across the board. And
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys so much. Like ever since I was your guys' show host in January, I mean, I get every time I see the notification, I watch every single one of them. And you guys, I can't even put it into words.
Oh my God, Ashley,
I feel supported right now, and it's great. And even the comments, I mean, everybody is just so positive, and it's just an honor to still be to be here, and even through a time where even I'm challenged over here too, So
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, well, Ashley, we love you so much. You're amazing. We're here for you. We're here for everyone. And a quick shout out to Eva. She said, great feeling to be a part of this positive conversation. You're amazing. Great advice. And I'm smiling more after this video. And that's what we want to do, is make you smile more. So, and this is all because of you, Ashley. You're amazing and you're wonderful. So I hope you go back through and read all the amazing comments that people have said about you and how wonderful you are. A big shout out. Good. And a big shout out to all of you for just being awesome and amazing and bringing a big smile to my face and just making my week and my Friday. We love you all. Big shout out to Mike too, who's our producer, who makes this show so amazing. But we love you guys. We're here for you. Let us know if you need anything. Message us, comment, join our Facebook community, and we'll be here next week. We love you guys. Bye.